Welcome to another episode of The Dark Side of the Paranormal podcast with June Lundgren
and Wendy Stanton Phillips.
And our special guest tonight, Seth Michael, psychic, medium, and wonderful person.
Thank you, and hello. I really appreciate you asking me to be on the show.
We love having you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I've been doing this work, psychic medium work, readings for about over 28 years now, and I do that full time. We also have a paranormal team called White Light Paranormal Insight, where we do community service work when there's hauntings at businesses or residents. And then we have classes at a place called Vision Collective, where we do ongoing classes with different instructors in Portland, Oregon. So that's something that's very exciting for us. It's been going on the second year, and it's Vision Collective, vision-collective.com, and then there's a whole bunch of the classes coming up if people are interested. And then we have something we're very, very excited about, and that is a documentary that's coming out.
Yes, I hear it's really, really good.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm soon to see the rough cut real soon here, and they're working really hard in the editing and coloring, music, getting everything all ready to premiere at the Oregon Ghost Conference in March, at the end of March.
Wasn't that like 3 years in the making?
Yes, exactly. Actually, this time, 3 years ago, we were asking for help with support to be able to buy enough equipment and to buy the right cameras and the things that we needed to get a good quality documentary. And we were shooting for 2,500. Well, it kept going up and up, and I don't remember. I think it was like a couple of weeks or something like that on Kickstarter. The filmmaker put it on there, and we got up to over $9,000 with 80 backers.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's cool.
And what we said we were going to do, we carried that out the whole way. It's a film that we want to promote the psychic community in a positive light and help shed some topics which are known to little. It's not widely known. Earthbound spirits. We're going to talk about suicide, religion, just you name it. We're really going to get into some deep conversation or discussions, scenes. So
that's awesome.
They might add. I think they might add the. I went through something. We had a reading, and a dog showed. As for you, June, pets come through for me too.
Right.
And there was a dog that came through, and he was showing himself dead, and that was the first time that ever happened. They usually running around and happy, you know how it goes. And I questioned that, and I said, well, why did you come through like that? And the answer was, I tell my mommy to stop seeing me this way. I want her to remember me when I'm alive. And so I got through the reading, everything was fine. The next day, I didn't have a lot of sleep, and then if you're reading for 60, 70 people, you get real open and I get drained. And so the next day, my defenses were down, and I kept remembering him showing me that, and I kept remembering the dog that died in my arms, and that's how I saw him in the end. And I couldn't stop crying. So I called my friend Aurora, and she said, well, what are they doing now? What are the dogs doing now? And they were both happy and by their people. They were running around, and one was I saw laying on the bed with the owner, or with the parent. And then so I was able to get in touch. That kind of helped. That's what's helpful about being able to be in touch with that side. Is like when we're going through grief, can make it just a little bit easier. Even just the belief. Not necessarily having to see them, but the belief that they're there seems to cushion the blow a little.
Yeah, it helps. I think it really helps people to know that that they're still around and that they're not really forgotten or not gone. They're with you all the time.
Right.
Even when you're not with them physically, they're still there.
Yes, that helps.
I have a lot of people who have said, well, you guys do this stuff for a living, so to speak. Does it bother you? Well, yes, it bothers us because, when we lose somebody that we have loved and been with, it still bothers us just like it would anybody else. We just may have a different perception of it. What would be your perception of that take, Seth, of the losing somebody that was close to you? How do you handle that or see that?
I do feel it's a little bit easier that I can hear them. And I believe anybody has that ability to do that once they're connected through their heart. And it's not always going to be their voice. It could be, but I think people get more communication than they realize because it's so subtle sometimes. We're just trained to listen. We're trained to be focused and really pay attention. And that's the only thing and it's not doubting. If we doubted every single thing we get, we wouldn't get very far.
No.
That's true. That's true, yeah.
You got to trust. There's a big trust and faith that goes with this whole thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because some of the signs too that people neglect are just as simple as they're not thinking about their loved one. All of a sudden they come in. Like, why would you think about Uncle so and so out of the blue? There's no trigger, no thoughts leading up to this guy. All of a sudden you see him with his pickup truck in your mind, or something like that, or you smell cookies out of the blue that your mom used to make. Those are what we call signs.
Right.
Exactly.
They just happen. Yeah.
Yeah. To letting us know that, hey, you're not alone and you're still loved.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what we're hoping to get across, partly what we're trying to get across in our movie, is that they don't go very far.
No, never far away.
Right, thus all around us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They are. Okay, so we're going to get you a little questions about what you do and stuff. Tell the audience what your abilities are and when you first started using your abilities.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm used to asking questions because I did my own show for a while, so this is the first time I've been on this end for a while. So I'll move into the answering question mode. When did I start using the abilities, and what was the other one?
And what are your abilities?
What are they? Okay. I think I started using them when I was very young. I used the empath ability and didn't realize it. In fact, I used it all my life because it was this there blowing wide open. Just all kinds of different emotions all the time. And my mom was very emotional, so I went on roller coasters with her. And and I was kind of young to understand it. So, and not only did I feel other people's emotions, I had my own, and they were pretty intense growing up, pretty overwhelming. So, and back then they didn't really know what to call much of anything. And so we tried therapy, but they never really had anything like teaching me. They tell me to shape up and think positive and do this and try that, but it didn't work because I needed to get to the root. I needed to learn how to deal with my emotions because there were so many coming at me, and no one really knew how to explain that to me either. So I just thought it was me. But then later on, when I learned, I was in my 20s when I learned I had abilities, but looking back, I used them. I've seen spirits ever since I was really young. We thought they were imaginary, but I don't. Looking back, it's very possible that they're not. It's more possible that they're not, because for kids too, if they're having an imaginary friend, it's their age, or it's an animal, or it's something fun, and it wouldn't change usually when you change houses, and that's what it did when we moved to other places. Mm-hmm. And the quote unquote imaginary friends changed. And some would come and go, and some would stay. Mom had really cheap childcare because they would get on the floor and play. We we would do plots with GI Joes. I mean, it was pretty cool. And one even was really excited when I found how to tie my shoe. It was really neat. And we actually we put that in the movie, in the film. We actually Tristan, the filmmaker, plays one of the spirits called Mr. McGovernment. His name was, I guess there was a Mr. McGovern at the time, so I just named the spirit McGovernment because he looked like him. He had a suit, and I always remembered him. And then he was wanting, I think I invited her, and I asked my mom if she set a place, and she did. So he sat there with us and kind of pretended to eat dinner. That was kind of cool.
Nice. That's like my granddaughter used to have her, well, she didn't call him her invisible friend. She called him her monster, and June saw him as like a 7-foot tall, curly-haired bear.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, he was. And he would do
right
things
there.
with her. She wanted him to come to Papa's birthday party one year, and he wanted me to tuck him into bed, but she doesn't have him anymore. But like you said, they change, they go, and, at 6, I don't think she has enough time in her little head for him anymore.
Yeah, lots going on, friends and things, learning, yeah. So my abilities I learned through the years, running on all 4 throttles. I got using all the clairs, the clairvoyancy, so I see images. That's not my sharpest, but it gets me by. And I have clairaudience where I can hear the voices as if and I can describe the voices and then people would tell me, yeah, that really sounds like so and so, or he did laugh that way, or he did say things that way. So then you have the knowing that goes with it. You just know you're connecting, and information might just pop in, like they had a dog, a German Shepherd, they had this, they did this. Things will pop in there. That's called claircognizance. And then the clairsentience or clairempath is when you're feeling the emotions. So if you get a spirit that stays hanging on to a certain emotion, they might feel sadness, you're going to feel that exact same way, and it might feel very heavy. Or some people don't even realize they have that ability, and they're at home and they start feeling anger for no reason, or some sort of emotion just pop out of the blue. That could be a spirit, is what I've come to learn.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I've been an empath my whole life, and I shut it down, and it's been coming back more and more. And I was saying to somebody earlier, I have been grumpy and I don't like it. And so you just kind of hit something. I'm like, okay, who's trying to bug me?
Yeah. It's good to try the different things too. Maybe just like get some, like rub salt on, wash your hands with salt, or they have salt soap out now. And June has her really cool stuff. You can also like rub your hands in that. You get all black, but
that's really pretty.
Well, you wash it right away. It cleanses the aura. The stuff she makes is very black and thick. It's from charcoal.
Rub it on your face.
Yeah. Holy camole.
Well, I'm just talking about, just cleansing your aura and earthing. It's very cold right now, but when it's nicer out, you can go out with your bare feet on the grass and get to water. Not right now, but you can go out in the tree. Anything you can do with nature helps ground you and clears your aura off. And the aura is an energy field. It's like what surrounds each one of us. And they say that it's made up of electromagnetic field, and it carries thoughts and emotions in it, and some people are very open and susceptible to picking up on those cues as if they were their own. So
now, being an empath, it's really hard for a lot of people. I shut down that side of me because I don't want it. Because
I've heard about that. I've heard
I'm already emotional. I'm already emotional. I don't need to add to it. don't let me watch a tearjerker movie because I'd be crying my face off. But how do being an empath and crowds?
Oh.
I imagine that's not a very comfortable thing for you.
No, it's not. And we're empaths are very susceptible to depression, anxiety, and the not so fun things in life. And so it is really important that we do everything we can to keep our what we say in the metaphysical community is frequency or vibration. Those two words are used often, and that's like keeping things at a opposite of heavy. So it's more like keeping your energy like a feather rather than a rock, and as best as possible. And then sometimes it just is a rock energy, and to accept that, okay, I understand and that I need to go through this energy right now. I need to feel this right now, and then let it run its course rather than trying to just ignore it, because that can cause a split if we're ignoring our emotions, and they get worse and they get heavier. So it's definitely letting yourself feel as you need to feel, but then going on to the next emotion, not hanging on.
We took Heather out of school finally because she's an empath and she just was dealing with so many feelings and thoughts. And when you consider what a teenager's mind is like, and to sit in a classroom with 30 or 40 others, I just felt so bad for that poor girl being bombarded that way. Not only did she have her own things that she was dealing with, but all these other things that were hitting her that she didn't know exactly what to make of.
I did the same thing with my son. It's like, the third year of high school, he's like, I'd rather kill myself than go back there. So you're like, okay. Okay, so we're not going to do there, or we're not going to go there. So I homeschooled them for the last 2 years.
And I wish we had that option when I was growing up. I think that would have been the best. Instead, we had a class, and it was called the Emotionally Disturbed class. Oh, and I get to go into that,
That's awesome. Heather
That was, I think it was in the 80s.
Oh my gosh. Heather wasn't.
They haven't.
She was. She did online school. Because with it, how it is. It takes your health on, and it just drags you down, and it's just awful. But thank God they don't have any. I haven't heard of any schools around here with the emotionally disturbed class.
Thank God. I think we left that behind in the 80s, I hope.
Good old Wisconsin.
Okay. There are times back there. We know that.
Not fun. Oh, no.
Oh.
Well, what
are some of the most challenging and difficult aspects of what you do?
Some of the most challenging is there's a lot of people that ask questions that are outside of readings. I'll get texts a lot. Like, can you tell me about this? Can you give me a message for this person? And it's really hard to say no, especially if it's on their person's death day, and it'll really mean a lot to their mom. And here I am, though, I'm doing so many readings, I'm already drained. It's really puts you in a very difficult position. Being an empath, it's so important to be assertive, and it's really hard to be assertive when people are asking, and you're in a position you want to help them. But that's why I did do a lot of free readings back in the past when I was learning, because it was a learning curve, and it was an exchange of energy, because I was getting practice and I was getting to understand how my abilities were working, and they were getting a reading. But then it got to a point where it was a lot of taking advantage of. So putting an amount on it helps that and puts a boundary up, and it's more of an exchange of energy. Sometimes you can do a trade. Sometimes you'll take a question if it's a real quick one. But when it gets to be several, it's not a fun position to be in. You know, I have to kind
Everyone.
of, I explain it the best I can. I just say I just wouldn't be able to give you a quality message right now or reading. And sometimes I'll do it, like if it's just one time, and you know, and I have the energy and it's really quick, but I don't want to get, you know, people in the habit, because I remember how that felt, getting calls at 3 a.m. Is he coming back? And I had just told the person that day that I got that they were not coming back. Well, how about now? How about now? Are they going to come back now? Most likely that wouldn't change, and it's them not accepting. But there's people called the people that get psychically dependent on us, where they want to know what's coming up at every corner, and the future is tricky. We can't always be 100% on that, because the future is mostly mental. Yes, free will. Right, exactly. And I don't think we're meant to know everything. And not everything. No. I don't always get futures. Sometimes I just say, you know, I'm not getting a darn thing. We're not. I believe I'm not meant to know that, to give you that. And so, you know, they can try somebody else, or they can try. Hopefully, they would try to just settle with the fact that we're not going to know everything that's coming up. You know, it's
wanted to know.
Yeah, it's a need-to-know basis, and sometimes we don't need to know.
No, you know, I've had prepared for or to change it. Prepared for change it. That's how we. That's why I think we get it.
Yeah, it's like I have people, you know, sending me a message. I lost my car keys. Can you help me find them? I'm like, what? I'm not the lost and found. I'm sorry, but I am not the lost and found. No, I can't.
I get that for people and pets, for missing people and pets, and I just cannot take those, because as an empath, we can get, if you're using mostly the empath ability, you can pick up on hopes. So you may get that cat is alive and fine, but then they find it later. You don't. It's you know, not alive. So it's really, really tricky, and so I don't take those. I don't even take chances with those. The missing ones, because there's too many factors involved with that. And I don't think anybody should ever charge for the missing people or pets. They do get interested in helping with that, but because it's too many factors.
There are too many external factors.
Yeah, too many emotions, too much involved. So that's some of the challenges, and then the rest are just being open all the time. You get kind of open in your regular life if you don't close, and then that can cause, you know, issues. So it's really important that we have tools, emotional tools, to deal with our lives. There's a lot of psychic mediums doing this job that don't, and they are like hanging out all over the place. They're having a hard time. And it's really important, you know, hopefully they recognize that, and they pull back, and they start reining themselves in. Because sometimes that's needed. You know, if I'm having a hard time, I don't do readings for a little while. I just give it a break and get myself back in the sync.
Yeah, everybody needs time for themselves. You know, everybody needs to close the door and put the out of the office sign up. You know, it happens. We need it sometimes. Yeah. I mean, you can't stay open 24/7 and expect to, you know, not have repercussions.
Right.
So are you doing readings and such at the conference again this year?
I haven't I've never actually done. Oh yeah, I did a couple of times, but I'm doing 3 classes, and then we're having I'm doing 2 classes, and we're doing 1 mini reading, and then I may do readings outside of that. But we are doing something very interesting called visual mediumship, where it started in a class. It is this lady named Shanna Matson, and she has these biofeedback stuff that you put your hand on. Have you heard about that software? And you've taken those pictures before, where they take a picture of your aura, and they do this real time. You hook up to it, and then you can see your aura changing. You can see your chakras growing, and chakras, for people that don't know, are energy wheels that we have throughout our body that pick up different energies, and so it's really cool. And she had the class, and she asked for volunteers. So I went up there, and I thought, well, why don't I talk to a spirit while I'm on it? Well, sure enough, as soon as I started talking to a spirit, my aura completely changed like that. It was amazing.
And you got to see it.
Yes. Everybody got to see it up on the screen. It was so cool. So I thought, well, wouldn't this be fun to do like an experimental reading? You know, I'll just do a reading, and that way people can actually possibly see what's going on. So we'll see how it goes. We're going to do it. We're going to do it for 50 people.
Whoa.
First come, first serve. We'll see what happens. That'll be fun. So it may be the conference center spirits that come through. It may be people in the audience have spirits that they recognize, and we'll see what happens to all the aura, the biofeedback stuff, everything. Well,
how do you feel when you leave the conference? Because there's so many people and so many different energy levels, good, bad, and ugly. How do you feel by the end of it?
I actually feel pretty good. Like for some reason I can't really pinpoint what I feel. I think kind of numb, just kind of on a high, but like wow, that was cool. But that was a lot. So it could be a draining, but not. It doesn't like take the life out of me, because there was so much elation that goes on too. You see people, you know, you're very good friends. You get to exchange energy, you know. So as a whole, I guess it all depends who you hang out with and where. You know,
well, we're there, so you're okay.
Yeah. We'll be there. We'll be there. So we can be mean to you or something.
And we can hang out.
At these things, take care of people. So we work together well.
Yeah, we have to take care of each other.
Chance, did you get it? Yes. Did you get a chance to talk about what you're going to be doing at the Oregon Ghost Conference?
No.
I would love to hear it. I'm sure everyone would love to hear what you're going to do. Both of you.
Listen to him. He just turned the table on us.
Yeah, he's trying to interview us now. Shame on you now. We're going to do a lecture on, I guess we're going to be a speaker. I don't like the word lecture. It sounds stuffy. So we're going to be a speaker on, of all things, methods of spirit communication.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
It's something different for us. We're not doing dark stuff.
Yep.
Although I'm sure we'll get our share, but spirit communication. It's very interesting. There's all different kinds, and I have props and all kinds of things like that. And it's just going to be interesting. I won't tell you the whole thing, because I want you to come see the lecture. Right? Not. But we're doing on spirit communication, the different ways to communicate.
So if people don't know, we're talking about the Oregon Ghost Conference located in Seaside, Oregon. And isn't it the 20th, I want to say the 29th,
30th, and 31st.
Okay, thank you. 29th, 30th, 31st. Yep, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we're not sure what day the movie's playing. That'll be one of the main events. They're not going to have anything else going around that time. No campfires, no anything. And so we'll have that. And then there'll be a lot of different mini events. And we don't know exactly what's coming, but I just know there's going to be a few. So they'll be looking at soon on I think it's OregonGhostConference.com.
Yeah, I think so.
If you want to find out, and they'll have the schedule up soon.
It's on Facebook as well as Instagram, both. So, and we are one of the, what are we doing? No, we're one of the sponsors for it. So.
Oh, we are one of the sponsors. And we're a vendor.
Yep. So we'll be out.
And you've been to several.
I have a new book that's supposed to be out in June. So it'll be, kind of a preview of that. So it should be interesting. It's, it's more than halfway done right now, but you know how that goes. It just takes on a life of its own, just keeps going.
Is that a is a fiction one or?
No, it's called Demon Seer. It's biography.
Wow, that'll be great.
Maybe.
3 or 4 of them right now too, so it's not the only thing running through her head.
Yeah, too many things running through my head. Always. But that's the way it goes.
That's my next thing too, is a book. I had the name of it, now I can't remember what it is. But I might come to you for some advice at some point.
Okay.
Because it'll be my very first book, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. Okay, so what about protection? We're looking at, I'm thinking of all these questions I have for you, that I ask of myself, So protection, shutting down, that sort of thing. Is there a need with you, and if you do, what do you use or what do you do?
Well, say after a reading, I just because I'm trying everything I can do to open, then I just kind of say a thank you and then imagine myself shutting down, and then I'm mindful as possible. I just go back to my life. I'll clean, I'll do things, and I'll try to stay in the moment the best I can, and pretty much just the reading is done, so then I'm closed, that kind of thing. When I'm out, sometimes I'll hear it, and I don't mean to be open, it'll just kind of happen. It'll just come in my view, or I'll open. Maybe my subconscious just wants to see what's there, and it'll work against me. It's like, okay, yeah, I see them, and
reaching out.
And sometimes it's too much. Sometimes the crowds, if there's a lot of people, that can leave me feeling kind of vulnerable, and I might end up opening more. So I gotta leave the situation for a little while and close again, and just kind of center and ground myself. So imagining roots coming out of my feet. Maybe I'll have some black tourmaline with me, grab onto that, or obsidian, or some of your black salt that you sell in little containers that people can wear, and you can grab onto that, or a crystal or something like that. The best protection is self-care, I think, is to really being self-aware and taking care of ourselves so that we feel more complete and present.
Yeah.
And love, spiritual love.
Yeah.
If I ever feel afraid, I think of my mom, which makes me feel the spiritual love that is just this all-encompassing, comforted, light feeling, and that really helps too.
A couple of years ago, we were lucky enough to work on a case with you. I will not go into the details, but afterwards, our little group that had worked together went and had dinner. Remember that? And it was kind of a neat thing because we all got together and just kind of decompressed together.
Right, exactly.
Because that was a very interesting situation, and we all dealt with it, felt it, tried to help each other and the person involved, and it was just a very unique way to handle it that one particular time. I didn't know if after we all parted ways, if you went on and did something else to remove yourself from the situation, because that was a pretty dark situation.
Yeah, it was. It was, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and you're a very light guy. You're not a dark boy.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I worried about you. I was like, oh, how's our boy doing? I hope he went out and played with the deer or chased the dogs or played with the flowers.
Yeah.
So did you do anything else after we all left?
I can't remember exactly, but I know I came, I was okay. I was all right. I can deal with the dark if it's something I'm really, there was a time a spirit guide put his hand on my shoulder. I was standing in front of an open doorway with 3 definitely, if there is such thing as demons, as June said, those were it. That was something. There was definitely a negative non-entity or non-human entities, and they were very destructive and toxic.
Yeah.
They were
So,
toxic to you.
and my guides were saying I was ready to deal with that. So
Aye.
I know I can do it if I need to. There's people like June that, that's just their thing. Like my thing is more earthbound, so I'm more drawn to helping them. And that's just something that, and that's just something that we can do. And June can deal with earthbounds, but she's more, right? You're more interested in it's just in our blood. We just go where our purpose.
Yeah, that's true.
I wasn't interested, but yeah, in our blood for sure. She handles the big nasties, and I handle the little goober ones. And it's not like she says she chooses.
I do animal communication, which I love more than anything, is the animals. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, demon could take a back seat to the animals. That's my problem.
Oh, that's your mainstay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I love it.
That's
I don't
cool.
like babies being hurt.
With her as babies, and with me as fur babies.
I got you. Yeah, that makes sense. Do they have the trailer? We do have the trailer to play, right?
Cool.
Does he want to play that? Or? Oh, excellent. Okay. So what we're going to hear is the trailer for the All Around Us documentary, and if you want to see it, you just go on allaroundusfilm.com, and you can see what's going on there, but this way you can listen to it.
You only want the spirits here for the highest, greatest good.
What are some signs that a deceased loved one is trying to communicate with me?
What are earthbound spirits?
Do all spirits know that they've passed on?
Are you able to communicate with anyone that has died?
Can spirits be attached to material objects?
My dad never comes through. Why is that?
How do I protect myself in a place that has a lot of paranormal activity?
Are we able to connect with pets that have passed away?
How do I know if my son has an imaginary friend or is actually seeing spirits?
I'm Seth Michael. I help to bridge the gap between the physical and the non, and this is a glimpse inside my life.
Every night my mom and I would always check in the closet and under the bed before prayers. That way I knew no one was hiding. It wasn't until years later did I figure out why I still couldn't sleep. Everybody seemed to think my friends were imaginary when I was younger. They were just invisible.
It's fun working with other mediums. You get to kind of bounce things off of each other.
Alright, you guys want to do mediumship now? Go back to spirits?
I've never had just your feet define me. It's my abilities that define me, It's who I am as a person on the inside. That's the real me. I get a great satisfaction to be able to bring messages through and to see it helping somebody to get them past their grief or to get closure.
Doing past life regression has benefited me in a very powerful way. I've gone way back where I know really why I'm here and why I have the purposes and missions in the sense that I have.
People connect with their pets more than anything, and they want that love, and to reunite them and bring them back together is a very healing process.
For 6 years and being on White Light, the reason I chose to be on this team and a team with mediums is because we're able to bring a sense of peace to our clients. We're able to counsel with them.
Oh my God, yes.
And I just remember the sense of relief. And it really did feel, after that investigation was over, as though the energy of Wayne and Nyla were able to just move on. It was like they just needed permission to go.
It's seen as a negative thing. I mean, especially symptoms of schizophrenia. Things like hallucinations, hearing voices. That's really, really stigmatized. When people learn to be afraid, they are then pushed to the outskirts of society rather than it being seen as a gift, as it is in many other cultures.
My whole family, everybody was acting like there was something terrible, and everyone was religious, and so they were saying things like, Satan's got a hold of her. There's evil in her. And I was horrified because I was this very religious person.
I mean, it's very, very slim that they're going to find a way to save me, a very slim chance. The only pain that I have with that has nothing to do with me moving on. It has to do with leaving my girls here without me.
I have been raised to believe that when you commit suicide, it is a one-way ticket to hell. I do not subscribe to that anymore.
What resonates with you in your heart? What is the truth? I think we all have the truth inside of ourselves.
All around us. These are the unlimited potentials that are your birthright as a free soul, and I encourage you to explore them.
In dark times, it may appear as if we are without support from the other side. It's with less fear, more faith, and an open mind that we can begin to have a deeper understanding of what's really truly all around us.
We are back.
We hope you enjoyed that, Ray.
Seth Michael.
Yes, so we heard from several people in the film. You've heard from Sharon Lewis, who is another psychic medium. Teresa Cleve, she's in the trailer. We have some clients and friends, and who we're really, really excited about also is Pete Sanders Jr. My girlfriend Jill and I had his book before we even met. We each had a copy. It's called You Are Psychic. And that book propelled me. That book, look out. And I didn't even have to read the whole thing. You just read the different sections and you kind of find out what abilities, what clairs they are, what abilities you're strongest in. And he goes over how to develop them. And I was practically getting addresses once I learned what I had. It really helped me narrow in on how to utilize abilities. He's from MIT, so he's more science based, and and I know that's funny if you talk about this realm with science, but he believes there's a correlation. There's many that do now. So anyway, so the filmmaker Tristan David Luciati, he's the filmmaker and director of the film. This is his baby. It's all of our baby. Everybody that's putting time into it, the editor, everybody who's been in it. So Tristan went on vacation in Arizona, and it turns out Pete Sanders Jr. lives there. So Jill messaged him and said, "Hey, will you want to be in our film?" And he said, "Sure." So we have him speaking. He's speaking there at the end, near the end, of the trailer. Yeah, and so they'll all be in it. It's going to be pretty amazing. I can't wait to see the rough cut. I'll be seeing it soon.
Awesome. So when this comes out, how is it going to come out? Is it going to be Netflix movie? How is this going to be out so people can see it?
So as far as my understanding is, we'll start with the premiere, and after that, I think they're going to start working on DVD, and you can get it through the website, allaround.com. You can even pre-order, and then it'll be shipped to you. And I think we're doing that versus streaming. And then at that point, he's going to film festivals, entering it in a lot of that. And yes, he did say yes to Netflix and probably Amazon, Prime, what have you. So we're definitely going to have a couple of local showings as well, other than the Oregon Ghost Conference. We're going to try to get it in Camas here in Washington, and maybe Kiggin Theater. I think that's in Oregon. So
Well, is there anything going to be up so that we can help put it out and about for you?
Just in the allaroundus.com film.com right now.
Okay.
So, and then they can sign up. There's also, if they wanted to still donate to help us with distribution costs, they can do that, and there's a lot of rewards. There's readings and books and all kinds of goodies.
Awesome.
Cool.
So I'm excited about your new book, June. And it's coming out in June.
Yeah.
That's easy to remember.
All right, come on now. yeah, it's kind of a biography, and there's going to be a lot more information in there about some of the. For years, I've been taking like notes for like 30 years about information I got from the other side, stuff like that. So, and it's like in boxes of longhand. So, a lot of that information is going to be in the book as well. So,
how do they get a copy?
I'll give you a copy. Come on.
Well, I mean, yeah, but how does everybody else? How does everybody else get a copy?
On Amazon.com, it'll be available, and it's through Ingram Books, and you can get it in print or you can get it as ebook. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Very cool.
Yes.
Do you do audio ones yet?
No, I haven't done audio ones yet. People are telling me that, but the cost of doing audio ones is ridiculous. You can spend, people that do the voice and read them and stuff, thousands of dollars.
I'd rather hold the book, thank you. I don't need it on audio. I want it in my hand. And so far, my favorite book of hers is her Romance Out of Time. I have read that so many times. It is just awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's fun, and you feel like you're in it, and you know these characters because she builds it that way. And it's like you're sad when it's over. It's like, really? I want more. I've read it in the bathtub multiple times, and I turn into a prune every time.
It is a paranormal romance. I do have a sequel started, so.
I'm waiting.
I know you are.
I'm not patient either.
I know that.
Oh, that's great.
So is there anything other than your film, anything else cool and exciting going on for you this year, your group, anything?
Pretty much our focus is the film. So we're all just, there's a lot of us just really excited to get that done and out, and then we'll promote, maybe go on a small tour or something like that.
So if people wanted to get a reading from you, where would they go?
They can go to they could just Google me, Seth Michael, Psychic Medium Spiritual Advisor, and my website comes right up. It's Seth Michael Advisor, Spiritual Advisor, I think is that. But they could just Google it, and Facebook. I'm on Facebook as well, so they could send a message or go through my website and leave an email, and then I would just get back and then schedule them.
Yeah, you can do ones from over the phone, right, as well as in person.
Yeah. Yes, and I do. You're right. And then in person in Camas, Washington, I have a room out of my girlfriend's salon called the Wild Hair, and I do readings out of there. So, and then we have a free service. If they get our haircut, I can let them know what it's going to look like before they get it done.
There you go. I'll be there Saturday, so
it's going to look fabulous.
Oh yeah,
it's going to look fabulous.
It's going to be purple. Yes,
really?
Purple this time.
Are you really going to go for purple this time?
Oh, I'm not going for purple. Stop that. Purple is for old people. I'm not old. Come on.
It's green. It's going to be green.
No, maybe Irish, but no green.
You can
we'll stick with the black cherry,
which is a very
Yes, and Jill does some fun stuff, I'll tell you. I see her work, and I'm like, wow, that's cool.
You're not that brave.
Hey, when I met all of you, I had great colored hair, and it was a total accident.
Uh-oh.
That was 4 years ago. Oh, my gosh, I'm getting old.
Oh, we're all getting old.
And that's good. So, Aaron asks, are his comments coming through?
It looks like they are.
Swear.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, so it doesn't sound like they're just talking to themselves. I'll unmute myself on the recorder as well. We do have comments in the chat room. We have Aaron Collins saying, loves the show and loves you guys. Also, he's laughing about the fact that Seth started interviewing June.
Yeah, he tables on me.
Yeah, it does tend to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you got somebody who used to do the same thing, so there you go.
Well, I didn't want just the spotlight on me. You know, I wanted to share the spot. I do that. I actually do that often. I enjoy working with other people. I enjoy working with other mediums when we're doing gallery readings, you know, big ones. And we're working on our paranormal team. We have over 7, I think, mediums on our team. And so it's really good to bounce things off of each other. When we're given a case, we just know it's a case, and we start writing down all our impressions, and then we compare, and we see what matches up. And there's always been things that match, you know, and then we'll have maybe somebody will get something that somebody doesn't get, like how the building used to look, or you know, certain names or something like that. And it all just puts a really good picture together. So
yeah, there's nothing like validation, you know.
Yeah. And I think you two are very interesting too, and that's why I wanted to also, you know, make sure that you get the word out about your book and everything, and what you're doing at the Oregon Ghost Conference. So
yeah, it's coming. It's just, you know, it's taken on a life of its own, so it's doing its own thing, you know. And
I think that's what's happening.
Some pages, you know, already. So
I think that's what's happening with the movie too. What I know is that they had it for 6 hours. They had to cut it down from 6 hours to 2 hours. And now,
oh my God!
So we have 2 terabytes of film. That's like you'd have to sit there and watch it completely straight for 32 days. So watch all the footage. So they've been working so hard. It's a hard. What?
It's horrible that now they have to choose, and you have to choose what you want in there. What's the most important when something like this? All of it is so important.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's a hard decision. Yeah.
Yeah, and then some things are going to end up on the cutting room floor, but I think they're going to keep it to around 2 hours. So yeah, it won't be, you know, it'll be like a regular standard film, you know.
Well, then you can add the outtakes and stuff to it, or the director's edition. There you go.
Yeah, that's what he's going to do. I'm sure he's going to have bonus footage, knowing him.
All the email questions, you know, there's this one scene where such and such happened, and I feel like something was missing, and so you're going to end up answering a lot of questions, young man.
That's why the book is coming out. I need to finish the book so that it answers the questions, and it's reading between the lines. You know, anything.
Title right there, reading between the lines.
Exactly. So if anything's not, so once I see the film, I'll know what to fill it in more with, and it'll have more in-depth explanations on things, I think. And so, but the plan is to get, you know, to people really get an understanding on some of the topics. So by the end of the film, of course, like earthbound spirits, not everybody knows what that is. And we're really touching the base of mental illness, and is there a correlation with that and spiritual affliction? You know, a lot of things that people wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, we're just doing it all. Yeah. We're just doing whatever.
That's probably
my life.
And that's a good thing, because there are people out there that are dealing with these things that need to have, this life raft thrown out to them to climb into. Hey, maybe there's more going on in me than what this person or this person is saying. Maybe these things they're valid. And so you may give people a lot of hope. I know my daughter and I have discussed that very thing many times over the last several years. She's like, here's how I view it. And it's like, that's a good way to look at it. Now you're dealing with it. So that's awesome. You could probably make a film all its own just on that.
Oh, yes, definitely. And one of my plans after this is to go to colleges and talk to therapists about people like me and what's helpful for us to hear and what's not helpful for us to hear. Like the word schizophrenia, are you really sure? I mean, you got to really be sure because, so if I've never gotten that diagnosis, but they could easily give that to somebody that says they hear voices. The difference is they're not saying to kill. They're not made up out of our own subconscious. We have many, many hours and proof for ourselves that how would I know Guinea Lane is the name of a farm that a spirit talked about, or how would I know they built red wagons, or how do you wouldn't know that stuff. So if you have all these voices are saying things that make sense that there's no way you could know, there's got to be something to that. So.
Well, it's like June said one time when we were discussing somebody, she's like, past lives come into play now. And, sometimes some people can handle it, some people can't. And there's sometimes too much of it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that would be good to touch on too, past lives. We didn't so much in this, but I know Aurora mentions it. Like in the trailer, she talks about she went way, way back in her past lives, and she learned what her purposes were in this life.
Yeah.
Based on that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool what you can do if you let the top of your head just blow off, and there's no limitations.
I try not to let this
happen. Well, what I mean is, there's some psychic mediums too that say that they know their way and that's the only way, and that's dishonoring other people's experience, because there are some people that say there are no demons whatsoever, and that's their belief, and then there's people that encounter them, and so there are demons for them, and so it's really important. I'm just open to like, okay, whatever you experience, that's.
My grandma always said, always keep an open mind, because there's, like Shakespeare said, there are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Because there are, and just when you think you got it put into a box, square peg in a square box, the box becomes round. So it's always changing, always.
And the thing I found out back in 2003, I've always questioned, past lives, and, I sat and contemplated it, but funny enough, I never really contemplated it for myself. And then in 2003, I had one come forward. I didn't ask it to. I had no clue what was going on. Totally blew me away. All I could do is sit there with my sister staring at me, and she will sit there and say, that is the weirdest experience I've ever had. I sat there in the car with one you, but there were two of you in there, because she watched the other one come forward that was from the 1800s. I had no clue. None. So I was able to get a hold of it, or it backed off or did what, because God knows I'm not going to take responsibility for what it did or didn't do. But I can't imagine if a whole bunch of them want to come forward at once. I can't. One was more than enough.
Yeah, it can, though.
And that's got to be fine.
Yeah, it's like the three faces of Eve, It's like all those lifetimes coming through.
Yeah, my one was more than enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
it was cool.
when I look back,
That's cool.
when I got a handle on it, because it wasn't anything freaky or terrifying, I just found out that I was in the Civil War and I was in the Battle of Gettysburg, which answered why I had always been so drawn to the place. Had no clue why. But that whole experience helped me understand. And when my sister and I rented a guide the next day, and I've studied a lot on it, but you know how it is. You can study 24/7 and you still don't know everything. And so I learned some things that day, and that's when my sister's like, that's what happened. You were that guy that came in from the other side of town. That's what she was experiencing, was watching me trying to get my troop out of harm's way.
Wow.
And it was, in my head, all I could do is say, head east, go east. And she's trying to calm me down, and I'm not in there really, but I'm in there. And I look back and I'm like, that was crazy, but that was really cool because I experienced the emotions that sergeant felt as he was trying to protect his people.
Amazing.
I couldn't have told you that at the time because I was like, whoa. But now I can look back and I'm like, wow, that was incredible. I can honestly say I know how that guy felt.
We do have a couple of... Oh, sorry about that, Wendy.
No, go for it.
I was just going to say we had a couple other things from the chat room. First off, we have Erin making saying that June is getting her blue hair.
Blue is good.
And Wendy Schindler is saying, hi, Seth.
Hello, Wendy. That's funny because I'm going to be on their show, too, and it's a Wendy and a June. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. My second Wendy and June pair.
So I'm saying hi.
You all need to talk one of these days. That would be fun.
Could be trouble. That
could be trouble. 2 Junes and 2 Wendys.
There you go.
That's right.
Well, we want to thank you for coming on our show tonight, Seth, and talking to everybody about your new documentary and your, giving us an insight into empath and medium and psychic, and we just loved having you.
Thank you. I loved being on here. And before we go, I just want to say a quick shout out to Jill, my girlfriend, who's been there with me during this whole journey from the very beginning. And so I just want to tell her how much I appreciate it. And so hopefully she's listening.
She's an awesome person.
Yes, she is. And I'm really grateful to you too.
You need to come back after everything, maybe later in the year, and talk about some more of this and what all's gone on.
Okay, yeah. I'm sure this is the beginning of a big adventure.
Yeah, later in the year and see how everything is gone. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Who knows what all we'll have gone through by then?
Uh-huh. Yep. Yeah, we'll probably have some new things to talk about.
Yeah. Well, you have a good night, okay?
Okay, thank you very much, both of you, and it was great. Nice meeting Joel.
Nice meeting you too.
Okay. Are we done? We're done.
All right.
Sorry, I remuted my microphone to talk to you again.
Waiting for us to enter. Waiting to enter us. Until next time, try to enjoy the daylight.